I was on the newest series of Dragon's Den, and it's been branded as one of the best negotiations in Dragon's Den history. But we were only on TV for about 15 minutes, and we were actually in there for about 2 hours. So I'm gonna watch the pitch along with you, and I'm gonna tell you the stuff they did include, the stuff they didn't include, and I'm gonna expose any myths that you might have about Dragon's Den itself. So let's watch it together. So we were actually on last, so like they built the whole episode around us. And genuinely, this was one of the best experiences of my life. So if you ever get the chance,
I'm Joe, I'm 28.
I'm Oliver and I'm 28.
I would definitely recommend doing it.
So bad.
They were my first ever words on national TV. I need a wee so bad.
And we are now
one
of the most followed brands on social media in our industry.
The thing is around this is like, the reason why I said I need a wee so bad is because you can't see the cameras anywhere. You walk in behind, and then you go into the lift and you go out into the den. And also the lift actually isn't real either. It's literally just a door, you go in, and then they wait a little bit while the things ping, and then the other door's on the other side open. But yeah, you can't see the cameras anywhere. And even when you actually go in the den, unless like you look to the left, because the cameras, you walk in, the dragons are in front of you, and all the cameras are to the left. Unless you look sideways and proper squint your eyes, you can't see the cameras because like they're in the dark over to the side on purpose, so you can't see, like you can't get distracted when you're trying to pitch to the dragons.
Someone has good taste in shoes and handbags.
Second-hand luxury. Big market, this.
Huge market.
I have an investment.
Touker has an investment in there.
Is that what luxury resale?
I was looking for this season's outfit there.
Oh, really?
So Touker has a company that he's invested in the luxury resale space, and what they don't show in the pitch, he actually says to us, he's like, oh, I've got this business that I've invested in, and then he says it and he goes, have you heard of it? And me and Joe and Ollie look at each other and we're like, oh no, sorry. And all the other dragons laugh, but obviously they didn't put it in, but that was a really funny moment.
The dragons are going to love us, they can't not. What we've done in the past 3 years is actually wild.
Let's go.
With the ambition and drive that we've got, we
There it
know that
is.
we're going to be the biggest brand in the world at what we do.
All three of us together, nothing's going to stop us.
Yeah.
So we went on the show with one main objective, and that was just to come across as really likable people. And we just said beforehand, before going in, like a week leading up, we were like, look, we just need to be ourselves. And if we are ourselves, we don't try anything like arrogant or cocky, and we literally just, we take everything on board that they say, and we tell them about our achievements so far. They can't not like us. It was just an objective of going on the show, coming across as really likable. Oh, another thing that they don't even show, like I've stopped it so many times, but honestly, I've got so much to say about the episode, is I literally walk in, I'm really nervous, and then I look at Stephen, and we're, like he's laughing, and then I start laughing, and then like we'd start laughing for a bit, and then I start my pitch. And it's because we're wearing the exact same pair of shoes. So like Represent came out like the week before with a pair of shoes called the Bullies, and I bought them just because I love them so much. And I walk in, and he's an ambassador of, well, he wears a lot of Represent stuff. I walk in, and we're both wearing the same shoes. When I finish my pitch about 3 minutes later, he goes, Ben, before all the dragons speak, can I just say, you have really good style. So that was really funny.
Hello dragons, my name's Ben.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Oliver. And our company is Luxe Collective. We buy and sell pre-loved luxury items. So we grew up in a place called Formby. And when we say that to people, they automatically assume, oh, you come from a lot of money. But for me and Joe, that's far from it.
Crazy seeing
One
yourself on
Christmas,
TV.
my sister asked my mum for a pair of £400 trainers. £400. Why is my sister getting a pair of £400 trainers when our budget for Christmas is always £100? So I went to my mum and asked why my sister has a bigger budget than me. She told me they were from a second-hand online luxury marketplace. And I became obsessed with this website. But I knew I could do it better. I knew I needed a business partner, so I knocked on my brother's bedroom, and it took him about...
That was true. Like I've said this pitch, like, so the pitch comes from a talk that I did at the beginning of last year. So I wanted to grow my personal brand last year. So to do that, I wanted to go on podcasts and talks. And I wrote this pitch as a talk, which was about a 15-20 minute talk that I did in Liverpool last year. And because it got such a good reception on socials when I clipped it up and posted it on there, I've just stuck with it. And every talk that I'm asked to do now, I just say this story, and then I do a Q&A at the end of it. And I was saying to the lads, like me and the lads were arguing a few weeks leading up to the show, and I was like, we need to go on there and tell a story. Like, I've got this perfect story that already resonates well with people. Like, I need to do this. And the lads were pushing back a little bit, being like, no, I think we need to focus on the business a bit more and talk about the figures. And I was like, no, like, we really need to win them over by storytelling. And they eventually gave in to me. And then, yeah, the rest is history.
It took them about 3 seconds to verbally sign the contract. So we started buying items off eBay and Depop. We'd clean them up and we'd sell them on Instagram for more. We've now amassed over 1.8 million followers. And last month alone, we got over 100 million views across our main 3 social media channels.
This was good timing because our socials were banging about this time. And also, like, before we went into the den, because we are so prominent on social media, we were actually discussing, like, have the dragons ever seen us before? And we haven't actually discussed it with the dragon we got, which you'll find out at the end, or any of the other dragons that, like, we spoke to then, but I have no idea whether they've heard of us. And if they haven't, that's amazing, because obviously that says we've got still loads more people to reach. But it was just interesting to me that whether they had or hadn't.
Since incorporation in December 2020, we have seen sales revenue exceed £8.5 million. We are here today to ask for £100,000 for a 2% equity share in our company.
So we did that on purpose. I said the pitch, I said the story, Joe said the figures, and Ollie then goes on now to give a presentation about the brands, because so I'm the storyteller of the brand, Joe's finance and product of the brand, and Ollie is operations of the brand. So it felt right to discuss our native roles within the company.
What's it called, the company?
Luxe Collective.
Luxe?
Collective.
Thanks for listening. I'm going to pass you over to Ollie, who's going to give you a quick demo on how it works.
Honestly, I got Joe to screen record the amount of visitors we were getting on the site whilst this was live. And when Touker was saying that, like, what's the brand name, sorry? Like, what is it? So we had to repeat it twice. This people who were on the website were just flying up. Like, I think it reached like 70,000 at one point on the site at once, and it made our site crash. And Stephen actually put something on his story on his close friends saying, like, the power of Dragon's Den. Like, it just, like, our site just like, not vanished, but it just broke for like 5 minutes because so many people were trying to get on. And Touker asking what's the brand just really, really helped that, like, go up, because we've seen an initial burst when we first went on there. And then after that, when Touker said that, we've seen another even bigger burst, which is just crazy.
Thanks.
A rags to riches tale from brothers Ben and Joe Gallagher and their colleague Oliver Miller.
Basically, this is our web.
He says Gallagher, which is the Irish way of saying our second name. It's actually Gallagher, but, like, Gallagher is the right way, but Gallagher's just like the English interpretation of it. If I could change anything, I'd just change the way he says the name.
This is our website, and we drop stock every day of the week, and that can be anything from bags, footwear and accessories, all from the top designer brands.
They're offering 2% of their designer goods resale platform in exchange for £100,000.
Loads of people saying, is the money real? Now, there's a funny story. Like, we were so excitable in the pitch, and we were, like, walking towards the dragons, but there's like an X that marks the spot on the floor where you're meant to stay so the cameras can get you. And the production company must have shouted out about 6 or 7 times, like, go back, you're creeping forward. And it was funny because all the dragons would, like, pretend to put their hands on the money saying, you're not stealing my money. And that honestly happened like 6 or 7 times, because obviously as you get excitable, like, you just stop moving, and we were moving forward closer and closer. And, like, yeah, that was just a funny bit, which obviously they couldn't keep in because we just kept on messing up the cameras.
So that's more like the buying side of things. But obviously we do have customers who sell to us, so that's where all the stock originally comes from.
Sara Davies is first up to find out more about the company.
Can I just say, Sara Davies was absolutely lovely. Like, I didn't know much about her other than just watching Dragon's Den previously. But honestly, she was just so nice, like they all were. But I think Sara in particular, she was just lovely. I really like her as a person.
Right, guys, so is the business wholly owned by the 3 of you at the moment?
Yes, 100%.
And so when you say you've done 8.5 million in sales to date,
Yes.
Yeah.
give me the last few years since you launched.
So in 21, we did 2.5 million in sales revenue and a net of 285k. In year 2, 3.8 million in revenue and a net of 255k.
Wow.
This year we're predicted and on track to do 6.5 million in revenue and to do a net profit of 420k.
That is very impressive.
Thank you.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
You're clearly printing cash here in terms of the net profit of your business. So you've come in today asking for 100k. It begs the question, why have you come here?
So they don't actually show like this whole sequence, and it was just genuinely so funny. So like they all say the same question. They're like, Stephen starts it and he's like, so why are you actually here? And then Touker goes, yeah, why are you here? And then Peter's like, yeah, why are you here? So like the story is like we did not know what we wanted to go on and ask for them. Like we didn't need the money, but we just needed to come up with a story that made it seem like we needed the money, and we thought we'd be able to. They'd understand it, and like they'd be like, oh yeah, good idea. But honestly, they saw right through us. It was hilarious. Like they literally all looked at us and went, why are you here? You know this isn't the plan for you. Like you're doing so well already. Why are you actually here? And I just start laughing, and Stephen goes, what are you laughing at, Ben? Like he's laughing as well. He's like, what are you laughing at? And I couldn't get my words out, and I was like, Stephen, I can't lie. We're just 3 young lads. We don't know what we actually want to do with it. We just want to get mentored by the best in the business. And as soon as I say that, they're all like, we knew. It was honestly, I'm surprised they never kept any of it in. Like, genuinely, it was hilarious.
So, the next step for our business, we want to go into retail, like your Selfridges, your Harrods.
We genuinely made this up like a week before we were going in.
We want to have a store in there.
Why?
There's a case study in America of a company very similar to us who've done the exact same thing, and I think they were on about 150
It does sound pretty plausible, I can't lie.
$1 million of revenue in 2018, and 2019 they went into Neiman Marcus. Neiman Marcus is a store in America, and now they're at $500 million worth of revenue. So we want to basically do that in the UK.
So why do you want a dragon?
Because we do not know where to start at all with retail of how to get in.
So,
here he is.
Just thinking about your strategy going into Selfridges or a Harrods, how does that match their strategy?
Peter genuinely rips this apart. And Peter was proper sound, and he's obviously a business mogul, like expert, like absolute Donny, like he's incredible. But he didn't really have an interest in our business model, just because the margins are quite small. And he did rip it apart slightly, which they actually never kept in. Deborah also does the same. She rips apart about the figures, about how long it takes us to turn over stock that we just got wrong. But they both did say, they were like, you know what, like, Peter did say, he was like, you know what, I'm not interested, but you've done so well, and I'm really impressed. Yeah, like honestly, Peter, they don't show too much of it, but he ripped us apart.
Working with the brands.
Yeah.
So, for example, you're now got a nice store-in-store in Selfridges. The brands obviously want to encourage the sale of new product. Selfridges make good money off the back of that new product. And then you guys roll into town to encourage their customer not to buy that new product when they can buy the same product that somebody has discarded for half the price.
Yeah.
How do you think the brands, this is the specific question, how will the brands react to Selfridges for allowing you to be in that store?
So at the moment, Selfridges actually have their own thing called Re-Selfridges, which, from my personal opinion and looking at it, is not very well done.
I think that was okay to say. A few people from Selfridges have seen this and aren't too happy that we said that. But I think that's okay to say, I'm just being honest.
So they are actively doing it.
Well, they're doing it on the back of working with the brands, aren't they?
He actually says this, saying they're doing it off the back of working with the brands. They're actually not. I wish I knew more about it at the time. So since we left the den, what he says, he actually goes, I have an investment in Matches, and I also know a lot of people in Selfridges, and they will never ever want to work with a pre-loved brand. And that's not true, because since the den, we've actually, I can't say too much, but we've actually spoken to the brands themselves, and for Peter to say that, like, they would never do that and then them do it, it was such like a relief to us and such like a, we're moving in the right direction. But they actually don't work directly with the brands on pre-loved pieces, which I wish I could have understood back then, so I could have countered him a little bit, not being like arrogant, but just being like, being able to hold my corner a little bit and being like, no, actually, Peter, like, they actually don't work directly with the brands, with it. Like, some of them do, yeah, but most of them don't.
I can promise you.
And maybe that might have changed his mind, and it would have been cool to be able to do some capacity with Peter as well, because, like I said, he's crazy good at business.
They would have got authority and gone to the brands that they work with and said, this is our pre-loved area of our business model. This is how we're going to...
Honestly, like, you see me laughing now. You see, if you look closely, you see me laughing throughout. And it's because, like, I'm just thinking, like, you know what? Like, you guys are right. Like, I'm not here to pitch this idea. Like, my main reason to go in there was, one, publicity, and two, get in front of Stephen Bartlett in any means possible. And both those goals were absolutely smashed out the park. And like, we did such a good job off the back of the episode airing, but also from the moment we started speaking to Stephen's team. Like, honestly, like, it was just an incredible, incredible goal that we achieved from doing this.
Going to really hold that customer in tight for you, Mr. Gucci, Mr. Yves Saint Laurent. You're coming in as three disruptors and taking their customer, and I think that that's flawed. I don't think you've got any chance. And the reason why I think that that's complete wrong for you to go there is because I think what you have and what you've done, I think, is fantastic, and I think you've got a huge opportunity to take this to a 60-70 million pound business, doing exactly what you do. But I wouldn't pivot into a strategy that when you don't understand how that works across those luxury markets.
Okay.
But I think what you have here...
He was right in terms of going into retail. It wasn't something we wanted to do, but everything he's saying, like, from the experience since going on the Den and understanding that whole strategy a little bit more, he is so right.
Have here, you could build upon, and I think you could force yourself into a situation where a Selfridges goes, you could become our pre-loved, I want to acquire this business. That's an opportunity that you should be selling.
Okay.
Stephen was doing that throughout the whole thing, you know, he was like, like, honestly, he's such a good actor. Like, a lot of it is for TV, but a lot of it's also, like, very genuine. But, like, the facial expressions and the noises they make is 100% for TV. It's class.
So you said 100,000 for 2%.
Yes.
So you're valuing it at 5 million?
Yes.
5 million, yeah.
Yeah.
Oy.
So I'll tell you what, I'll tell you where I am, okay? Some people in this den wouldn't get out of bed for 2%. Not looking at anyone in particular. But you're offering a small stake in your business.
Yeah.
But to have somebody motivated to want to get really involved in your business, they're going to want to take a significant proportion of your business. And so you're going to have to give away a lot more of your business if you're going to walk out of here with a dragon, okay?
Okay.
My personal opinion is you just need to go and make hay while the sun's shining. And the sun is shining really, really bright, and you just need to get your foot on the gas and go for it. And if you go for it in a big enough way, doing a lot more of what you're doing, some big guy's going to come along and buy you up or buy part of you because you are a pain in their behind, and you can scale this business without...
You know what? I would love to be a dragon on Dragon's Den one day, you know. I would just love it. Like, I think that would be a childhood dream come true. Like, looking at this now, like, Sara, obviously, she came in late to Dragon's Den. Oh, I would love to imagine me sitting beside Stephen one day after selling Luxe Collective to someone out there and building another business and another business. Oh, I think that would be class.
Anybody coming in. I'm sat here thinking, would I like a chunk of this business? Absolutely. But then I feel like you would resent me because I'd want such a significant chunk of your business. You'd get to the point in 6 months' time where you'd be really frustrated and saying, why did we give her all of that chunk of the business when she just told us to do more of what we're doing? Because that's essentially what you need to do. So I'm going to shoot myself in the foot and tell you that I'm not going to invest and I'm out.
Yeah, I actually think the same.
Honestly, when that first one came, and then Peter says it as well, we're like, oh my God, they're all going out. Like, they're all out one after each other. We're like, we're going to go home with nothing. Because it happened so quickly. It literally happened as they showed it. It was like, Sara out, Peter out. It's crazy.
I'm not going to make you an offer. But I'm going to wish you the very best and say that I'm out. But congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Peter.
Do you know what? I'm going to make you an offer.
And then Stephen does that, and we're like my insides, like, we're like, oh, we've got it. We've got onto Dragon's Den, and we've got an offer. And it was an offer from the guy that I went on for, because I've just, like, I sent him a message about 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago now. I put it on my Instagram a few days ago, and it's like, you inspire me every day, man. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And for now, him to be making an offer because he wants to be involved in my business, it was like a full circle moment. Honestly, it's just crazy. Like, I've looked up to him for so long. It was just one of the best moments of my life so far, like being genuinely serious. This is crazy.
Because I just really like you guys, and I think it'd be loads of fun to work with. I know all the people around your space, and I think a lot of the value can just be done connecting you with those people. So I'm going to offer you all of the money for 5%.
Interesting. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's actually not a bad offer, from 2% to 5%. Like, that's solid. Like, he obviously wants to be involved. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Let's see who else
To me,
makes an
you're
offer.
just the whole package as far as entrepreneurs are concerned. You know, you just got it. You came up with an idea, you've done it, and you're turning over 6.5 million last year. I mean, that is phenomenal.
No, they haven't.
Peter likes to correct her here, but she did make a slight mistake. She said 6.5 million this year. It was actually projected.
That's this year.
Oh, that's your That's your run rate.
Projected, yeah.
So I too am going to make you offer, and I'm not going to make it easier for you because I also want 5% of the business.
Okay. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And then there was one.
Yeah, look,
There's so much parts that they just missed out here. Like, we talk about like all the people in the industry that we're inspired by that they cut out. We talk about Touker's business that they cut out. Talk about why we're actually there, because they uncover why we're actually there, because we start laughing loads that they cut out. They cut out about Deborah ripping into the figures. Like, honestly, there's so much. Like, we were in there for 2 hours. So think about how, and I think that's why it makes it such good TV, because it's a 2-hour pitch in 14 minutes. So, like, all that's left is good parts, and they've actually had to cut out good parts as well that will make TV. So that's when you know you've got a good piece of production, when you have to cut out good parts and you're left with a good bit as well.
the business looks rosy. However, you get a few bad months, it could turn.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to need some strings pulled to make things happen. And I've got 50 years experience in this business, but I'm not going to give myself away for 5%. So I'll make you an offer. I'll give you all of the money, but I want 10%.
Oh my God. They actually cut out a massive segment. So Touker says, I want 10%, I'm not going to do 5%. So Stephen does 5, Deborah does 5, Touker says 10%. Oh my God. So we go to the wall and then we come back and we start negotiating, and I make a horrible decision in the negotiation, which they cut out as well. Oh my God, I forgot about all this bit. So basically I come back and I go, I can't say no to Deborah. Like, I feel so bad that I'm saying no to Deborah, because she's just like this woman in front of me. She looks so sweet and I'm rejecting it, and it was just so hard for me to do. So like, I say to Deborah, I'm like, I'm so sorry, Deborah, but I'd rather work with Stephen. And then that gets to that. But they cut out a whole bit of Touker and Stephen arguing, where Touker's like, I'm still in, and Stephen looks at him and goes, no, you're not, they don't want you. And then Touker's like, they haven't said that yet. And I turn to Touker and I go, Touker, there's not a chance I'm giving away 10%. And then he goes, okay, 5% then. And then I just start laughing, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I don't want to do that. I'd rather go with Stephen. And then that's when he goes, well, you're only getting 8 years experience with him, but you're getting 50 years with me. Oh, I forgot about that completely. What the hell?
Because I believe that I can catapult you quicker.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can we go and talk to the wall?
Talk to the wall.
For the window.
Joe was joking, and between Joe and Ollie was saying, like, I want to get that in. I want to say we're going to the wall. So Joe, that's why Joe's laughing, because he's like, can we go to the wall? Because he's talking about like the little fight they were having of who could get it first leading up to it. So that was pretty funny. That's why we all laughed.
A trio of offers for the second-hand luxury traders. Stephen Bartlett and Deborah Meaden have each pledged all the money for 5%, whilst fashion mogul Touker Suleiman has valued his industry expertise at 10%, considerably higher than the 2% that was originally on the table.
Just the most we'd go to.
So we didn't know whether they'd get this in, but like there's a whole story about this wall window situation. Is that we all agreed that from Stephen's 5%, we would go to 4%. And like I was like, yeah, that's fine. But in my head, I was thinking, there's no way I'm giving away 4%. There's no way, I can't do it. And I was like, I've got a trick up my sleeve. And then the next 2 minutes that follows are the most intense, high heart rate, absolute crazy next 2 minutes of my life. And I think it only shows about 30 seconds on this. But I was like, I've got a plan. The master of storytelling, Stephen Bartlett, has been subconsciously teaching me for the past 4 years. I'm gonna kind of play him at his own game and see who comes out on top. And honestly, it was the best thing I've ever done in my life. Go head to head with Stephen Bartlett, and especially what the outcome was, it was just incredible. Like, honestly, I can't explain the feeling that I had, but this is how it goes down.
4, go to 3, go to 4. Okay.
And just to say on top of this, Joe and Ollie had absolutely no idea that I was about to do what I was going to do.
Will the young entrepreneurs be as impressive at negotiating as they are at producing high profits?
Thank you for all your offers. We really appreciate it. So like, when I was 19, I kind of like didn't really like the direction my life was going in. So like I decided like, I need to start working on myself. And I started listening to your podcast, Stephen, and like the conversations you've had with all these people really helped me get back on track and live a life. Like, I never thought I'd be in this position now, showing you guys my business that is turning over whatever. Like, you've helped me out a lot, man. Like, I appreciate it. Can someone help me out? I think we would prefer to work closer with Stephen.
Fine. The difference is you're getting 8 years of experience with me getting 50 years.
It's fantastic experience. Have we got a deal?
I think we would prefer to agree. Well, we would definitely want to agree terms. I think 5% for us is too high.
Just while you're watching this, keep an eye on Joe and Ollie's face. Like, they cannot believe what I'm about to do.
Right.
We would do 3%. That's where we're at, Stephen. And like, we would shake hands on a deal at 3% right now.
Can we meet in the middle?
I think 3% is a good deal.
So you wouldn't be willing to go to 4%?
sometimes in the den, you know, sometimes in the den, I want to see a bit more
willingness to negotiate and meet in the middle, and I'm a dragon, so I'm meant to be like tough guy that, you know, is gonna like, I don't know, throw the money at you, tell you to get whatever. But I'm in love with your story, I'm in love with what you're doing. I think you're great guys and I'd love to work with you. So in this case, I'm accepting the 3%. We got a deal?
Yeah.
When he said we're accepting it, my heart just like went back to normal. Like, honestly, I thought I messed it up, and I was so like upset with myself. But like, if you look at it there, like when I shake my head and I'm like, he says, would you go to 4? And I'm like this. If I would have opened my mouth, I would have blurted out, yeah, because I just wanted to work with him so bad. But I kind of primed the scenario up because like it was a good strategy in terms of I was storytelling. I was creating this whole thing throughout. Like I was locking eyes with Stephen. I was telling him how much of an inspiration he was. I was telling him how much his podcast had helped me over like that shows it all in one, but that was over a period of time leading up. And I feel like if he tells us that he was interested in our company, and I tell him that like in front, like on TV in front of people, being like, look, you've helped me out so much, and then he rejects me over 1%, I don't think he would have done that. So that's why I just stuck to my guns. And honestly, it was the best decision I've ever made because it just made fantastic TV. And the boys were just made up with me afterwards. And it makes this moment happen now where I'm talking to you about one of the most amazing experiences of my life. It's like the moral of the story is really, like, stick to your guns, and sometimes like it really, really pays off in ways that like you couldn't ever imagine.
Well done.
Success for the lads from Liverpool as Ben's tough stance pays off and Stephen Bartlett pays up.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Now they have their dream dragon. The question is, what's next for the business?
Definitely not retail.
Went down
So
like
the fella you used to see on Dragon's Den, the one with like a bald head, and he would like be filmed and he would talk in between. He's actually not there anymore. He only does the voiceovers, which I thought was really interesting as well. They have a camera and you just speak, like there's some woman behind next to the camera and they ask you questions whilst the camera's on you. And honestly, this was about 6 or 7 takes in. Like we were just so overwhelmed with what just happened. We couldn't really speak about it, but it was just fantastic.
went down like a lead balloon.
Such a good idea. I used to push trolleys and now I'm working with Stephen Bartlett. I never thought I'd be in front of him in Dragon's Den. I actually thought I'd be opposite him on his podcast. But it just so happens that this was first.
You absolute soft touch.
I know.
They played you like a film. They had no negotiating power.
No,
Stroked
they were-
your ego. Stephen, we love your podcast.
Do you know what? I looked at it and I thought, my ego aside, would I do that deal with them? I would.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
There you go, everyone. It's a good deal. Deborah Meaden says it. But honestly, one of the best experiences of my life. Enjoyed doing it thoroughly. It was a long process to actually get on the show. It was a long process after the show to finally meet Stephen. It was about a year and a bit in like total. But would I advise anyone to go on Dragon's Den? Absolutely. It was just incredible. And I'm going to put out some stats on my personal LinkedIn over the next few days about like the impact we had as a business and personally of going on LinkedIn, like how much visitors we had on the site, how many people are following me now, how many people are following the company, how many people have written articles about us. Like, I've had a look at the numbers and honestly, it is genuinely insane the media value that we created from going on Dragon's Den. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to take a look at any of the pre-Den vlogs, because we actually filmed the whole day of going into the den and then the whole day of going to meet Stephen. So if you want to watch them, click this video here or this video here. And honestly, they are a really, really good watch. We've had amazing feedback on that. And thanks for anyone who's watched those already. If not, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.